Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much, Andreas and Loisers, for being there with me and helping me with today's webinar for customers of channel for all our customers. Now, in today's webinar, as Andreas said, I'm going to talk about ServiceDesk Plus integration with Microsoft Services, and I'm Santosh Maiban, Customer Success Manager, where I would be helping everyone over here today to understand how exactly these integrations work. We're not going to look into the technical aspects, but we are here to understand what are all the integration capabilities that we offer, what is the latest version of ServiceDesk Plus, and why is it that it is so important that we stay always updated in order for us to understand the features and benefits. So I work with Channel IT team, and this webinar is very specific for customers and prospects of Channel IT team and for customers around Greece and Cyprus. All right, so let's get into the webinar and let's learn all our new features and its functionalities today. Now, we have to understand and agree to the fact that we are all working on remote. And what are the main challenges that we experience during the remote work? Well, we have these business applications and tools for productivity, such as your Teams, Outlook, Calendar, SAML. There's like a lot of these Microsoft services that you have. And you have your IT service management solution, which is kind of on premises, or you could also even have it on your virtual cloud, but still it is an on premises solution, which is ManageEngine ServiceDesk Plus. The challenge we have is that how exactly we deliver great employee experience through frictionless workflows enabled by contextual integrations. Now you have these on-premises solutions and you have the cloud solutions, but they are disparate, they are separate. And we need to figure out a way of how to bring these solutions together so that the integrations work seamlessly and the organization users and the team work with these products without any hassle. So that is where we have prepared an agenda of what are the features we're going to discuss and what are the versions or the edition that it should be in order for you guys to use the features. Now, the agenda is about to talk how we integrate ServiceDesk Plus with Microsoft products. We're going to start with Teams, actionable messages for Outlook, calendar integration. We are going to also talk about the new plugin that we released on the latest version, which is 11.3. Then we are also going to have a quick discussion about SAML, SSO, and EWS offering. All right, so with this agenda completed, I'm going to talk about the first feature that we have with ServiceDesk Plus and Microsoft Teams. Now, just so you know that this presentation will be sent to you guys so that you would know what are the feature requirements and what are all the features, what are all the prerequisites that you need to be aware about. Now, with Microsoft Teams and ServiceDesk Plus, what you could basically do is that from the Teams, you can perform a lot of integrational options, such as you can perform chat commands or slash commands, I would say, using which you could perform operations. Not just that, you get a unified view where either the requesters or technicians can work on tickets seamlessly. While they're working on tickets, they could do updates on the tickets from Teams. They can add notes, reply to tickets, pick up tickets. So based on whatever permissions that the end users and technicians have, they can absolutely perform right from within your Teams. Then from the Teams, a requester can initiate a chat session to the technician that is there in ServiceDesk Plus. It makes your life a lot more easier and simpler. So these are all the options and benefits that users would get with ServiceDesk Plus and Microsoft Teams integration. You can perform seamless approvals right from within Teams. You can even create tickets right from within Teams. So what are the prerequisites required for the integration? You need to make sure that your ServiceDesk Plus is hosted in HTTPS mode with a valid public certificate and the system is publicly accessible. You could also make use of the application's proxy feature in Azure to host ServiceDesk Plus publicly. What are the roles that is required for these operations to be performed? To set up Microsoft Teams integration, you will be using the integration configuration section of ServiceDesk Plus, which we're going to see now. And then the Microsoft Teams desktop or the web app is more than enough, and the Azure portal. Now, The following roles such as services needs SD admin to make the admin configurations done. Then you need to have the Azure Global Administrator or the Teams Administrator and Azure Applications Administrator. So these are all the roles that is required. And we just saw what are the operations that is supported. So with no further delay, I'm going to take you right into ServiceDesk Plus. A quick tour here. You go to the admin segment, and in the admin segment is where you're going to see the Teams integration. Now, you might be feeling that my screen and the interface is quite different. Yes, it is. So I'm going to tell you why. So as you can see, there's like tons of these integrations we have. These are a couple of ManageEngine products that we integrate out of the box. And on top of that, you have the Teams, actionable messages, calendar integration. So these are all available right from within ServiceDesk Plus. All you have to do is you have to perform the integration aspects over here. And you know what? This documentation that we have is very clear. And I've done the integrations following this instructions. It's quite easy and it is simple. So once you have performed your integration from ServiceDesk Plus, all right, I'm just going to log in as a requester, all right, so that we could start seeing how we could work on the features. So I'm just going to log in as a requester over here in order for me to use the Teams. So let me just quickly log in. Now, also, you need to make sure, go to the question mark and go to About. When you're at About, you need to make sure what your latest version is. We have released version 11.301, which is the latest version. And this is quite an interesting build because we have brought in a lot of integrations, features, customizations. So if you haven't upgraded, I would strongly recommend you to upgrade ServiceDesk Plus to the latest version so that you could enjoy all these features. All right. Now, let me just log out of the system and we could like quickly see what are the operations we have. Now, while the system is logging out, I'm going to show you how the Teams looks. So in the Teams, you can pretty much integrate and you can perform all the chat operations that we have. So when the moment you type in the / commands, you get like a couple of features. All right, you get to view your pending tickets. You could like get to view your pending approvals. All right, so you get a lot of these operations that you could basically do. All right, so this is how using the / commands you can work in Teams. And I'm just going to log in as a requester. So once I've logged in as a requester, we're going to see what are all the benefits that I get. Now, as an end user, I've logged into the system, all right? And this is logged in as a technician. So I'm just going to use the command called revoke so that for the Teams, I'm logging out from the technician's login. And then any operations that I would do is going to be basically from the requester's operation. So now that this is done, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to initiate a chat. Now this / command for chat is going to establish a communication from Teams right into your ServiceDesk Plus application. So your end users can seamlessly go ahead and perform these operations. So as you can see over here, I can create a ticket, all right? And as well as I can also perform chat-based operations. So let me just quickly go ahead, use the chat command and do my chat with the technicians. So these are all features that we have released because understanding how technicians want to collaborate and work with users across the organization who are using different features. So I've initiated a chat session, and as you could see, the chat has been established. Sure. So Richard Green is going to pick up this chat, and Richard is going to say, "Hi, how can I help you?" So basically, right from Service Desk, I'm talking to Howard Stern in the Teams, all right? And Howard is saying, I need a new mouse. And this chat goes back to Richard, and Richard is going to say, Okay, I am going to create a new request for you, and we can proceed from there. So Richard has now answered back. Now this communication goes back and forth, all right? So what Richard can do at this point is that he could go ahead, end the session, choose the service template, and create a ticket. So I'm just going to choose the closest one. I can say close and create the ticket. So the chat has been completed. The ticket is going to be created automatically. Now this way, end users communication from a totally different collaborative tool like Teams is tracked in ServiceDesk Plus in the form of tickets. So as you can see, the conversation is here. The ticket is being created, and I could choose what template I want, and the end user is also updated. So this is how ServiceDesk Plus and Teams work. Now, as an end user, if I go into the request view in Teams, I get a lot of other options too. Whatever the requester can do logging into ServiceDesk Plus, they can basically do right from Teams. So they can like view the ticket, they can add notes to the ticket, they could reply. If they have edit options, they can do that. So you can see they can like basically perform all these operations right from within Teams. They are not even switching applications, all right? So this is exactly how the ServiceDesk Plus integration works with Microsoft Teams. And again, as I said, if they want to add a note, they could just go ahead and add the note over here. You could perform a lot of these operations. Now, just like this, I can also create a ticket. So right from over here from Teams, I can just say, let me check, like, please give me a new laptop. And I say, create ticket. So this ticket is going to be created right into the ServiceDesk Plus application, and you get the response back saying like, this is your ticket ID. I could just view it. So this ticket, and also I could just view it from my request. These are all the integration aspects that you get. Now we have discussed the main key features. Now let me just log out, okay? And let me just log in as a technician back again so that we can quickly see what are all the other technician-based operations that could be performed from Teams. Now, I hope you understood how the integration works, what are all the feature capabilities that you get, all right? So let me just log in as technician. And I'm going to head to Teams and I'm going to say /pending. Sorry about the spelling here. And again, you need to make sure the spellings match. If not, it's not going to work. The spaces, everything does come into consideration. So I'm just going to view my pending approvals. And again, when you are signing off and signing in, Teams would look like it would need to re-authenticate itself. So we just have to wait until the session is established so that I could go ahead and show you how the pending approval works. Now, when you hit the command pending approval, this is how you get the window. And when you click on take action, so you could basically approve and reject an approval right from within Teams. So you could like view your tickets, you can create a ticket from Teams, you can view your pending approvals and take approval action from Teams. And the chat is only for end users. So if I'm an end user, I could just initiate the chat session and it is going to communicate right into my Teams technicians and the Teams, services technicians. And one of them could like collaborate, work with the end user from the Teams and perform all these operations. So as simple as that, all these features and its functionalities work. So this is how we can like work with ServiceDesk Plus and Teams integration. And as I said before, basically this collaborative effort is going to make your end users work a lot more easier and a lot efficient and better. So let's head back to our presentation and see what are the other options we have. So the roadmap features is already released. So this roadmap features that we have is prior to 11.3, and from 11.3, you can like create requests and perform approval actions. The next feature is about actionable messages from Outlook. Now, again, Teams is one collaborative tool most of the organizations use. Just like that, we have actionable messages from Outlook. So what does this mean basically? Your IT services technicians receive email updates from different applications into their Outlook mailboxes. So you might even be wondering, someone just sent you an email saying, hey, can you get me a new laptop? So that email would not have a context or would not have anything fit to it. Now, you need to perform a couple of operations that you could do from there, or you get an approval in the email. You don't need to strain yourself to access the ServiceDesk Plus mobile app to do it, or you don't need to access ServiceDesk Plus to do it. Well, ServiceDesk Plus offers integrations with Outlook where you could perform a lot of actions from your email notifications. Basically, you could manage request operations by adding nodes or resolving tickets through or within from within Outlook. Then you can approve or reject tickets from Outlook. Then you could like pick up a ticket from Outlook. And what are the prerequisites that is required? So it's the same prerequisites that we discussed for Teams, all right? And if you look for the roles, it's pretty much the same, except that you need to have Azure Global Administrator role and or Exchange Administrator role and Azure Applications Administrator. So these are the roles that is required. And as you can see, we have the operations that is supported. Approval operation, pick up, resolve, and add notes. So let's head into the demo and see how it works. So here is my Outlook. And with all the tickets that I've been creating, the tickets are fetched right over here. All right. Now, what happens with this integration? So let me just go right into this ticket. So I've logged in as a different user in Outlook who has different permissions. So I could basically pick up this ticket. All right. So what is this ticket ID 34? So let's go to ServiceDesk Plus and view the ticket ID number 34. So this ID 34 is unassigned. It's not assigned to any technician. All right. So what I'm going to do is that from Teams, I'm just going to pick up this ticket. So as you can see, the operation is so seamless. When an action is done in Teams, I also get an update, all right, saying that I've picked up the ticket. And then if I go back into Service Desk, as you see, there's a smart prompt that comes here saying that the ticket has been picked up by SDP user 1. Now, there it goes. The ticket is now assigned to a technician. And when the notification is being sent saying that a request has been assigned to you, I get a couple of options that says I can add notes. So I'm adding a quick note, and this note goes right into your service desk. I could also resolve the ticket. I could view the details of the ticket. So here is like a lot of these operations I can do. So the note has been added. And again, I could just like go ahead and refresh to see what note has been added. So this way, I can perform all these smart communications between my Outlook and my ServiceDesk Plus. So this basically eases out your operation. So as you can see, I picked up the request from Outlook, so I get this update. So based on the notifications that you keep getting, you could like go ahead and say, what are the operations that like you could work on the supported operations. So we have seen how to add notes, we have seen how to resolve the ticket, we have seen how to like pick up the ticket, and also like if you need to do approvals, you can do it right from within your Outlook. So this is how the actionable messages helps you to do it. And to perform the actionable messages operation, it's quite simple again. You just have to head to the admin tab, and in the admin tab, at the very bottom, we have integrations. And from the integrations, you perform the configuration between actionable messages of Service Outlook with ServiceDesk Plus. And as you can see, these are the operations we normally support. Now, let's head on to our other set of configuration, which is Microsoft Calendar. Now, again, this has been like a long bucket list kind of a thing that I would personally say, because I've seen customers asking integrations with calendar right from the time I've joined ManageEngine. So IT services coordinators or managers, you always know that they find it so difficult to manage tickets when they don't have information on your technicians' availability, because Outlook calendar is like a lot more advanced towards the business adaptation, where the Outlook calendar has a lot of features to it. So this becomes a lot more challenging with technicians mark leave on your Outlook, which is on a different calendar. And when it doesn't have integrations with other business applications, it becomes a lot more difficult for the app business. So integration between ServiceDesk Plus and Outlook calendar and Microsoft Teams helps address a lot of these issues, and we are going to see how. So when you sync leaves, you could sync help desk leaves with Outlook calendar and the vice versa to make ticket assignments smoother. So the coordinator or the technician assigning leaves would know what's happening. Then you could sync leaves from the help desk with Microsoft Teams calendar. So basically you mark a leave on help desk, it goes and updates in your Microsoft calendar, Teams calendar. So if you're going to send an invite or if you're planning to schedule a session with someone, you would get to know what happens. Again, the prerequisites, these are almost the same. And again, when it comes to the roles and permissions, this is one difference that I would let you know, which is Azure Global Administrator is required and Exchange Administrator or Exchange Administrator and Azure Applications Administrator. So these are the roles that is required. And again, the operations that we support is that basically leaves from out of office events in the Microsoft calendar will be synced with ServiceDesk Plus calendar. You can add, edit, and delete actions are supported, and it's vice versa. You do it on the Teams or in ServiceDesk, it is supported. The leaves configured in ServiceDesk Plus calendar will be synced with Teams and Outlook. However, Teams calendar calendars that you mark will not be added into ServiceDesk Plus because teams are event-based operations and not leave-based operations. Hence, we don't fetch them in. All right. So with no further delay, again, let's go ahead and look into the calendar. So here I have my Teams calendar and Outlook calendar, and I'm gonna have my services calendar right from my home tab and scheduler. So let me just go ahead. And just so you all know, today is Eid. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to mark comp off from 21st of July to 22nd of July and saying Eid holidays. And I click on save. Now, while I do that, this information will be instantly pushed into your team's calendar. All right, so as you can see, what I marked over there is being updated right into my team's Outlook calendar. And I'm gonna say in my Outlook, all right, I'm gonna mark a leave. So basically, you need to make sure you choose away, all right, provide the leave title, and over here you choose all day. Now, if it switches back, just make sure you choose away because this is how the calendar syncs work. And I'm going to take 4 days of leave. So away is chosen, all day is chosen, given the title, choose the days, and go ahead, create your leave. Now, the moment you create the leave in your Outlook calendar, the same is going to be reflecting in your ServiceDesk Plus calendar. Now, in ServiceDesk Plus, you do need this refresh in order for you to view it. And also, you need to be aware that when you mark leaves or when you keep updating leaves, it would reflect simultaneously. And if there is a delay, it would mean that the delay is happening when the handshake between the calendar and between ServiceDesk Plus is having a delay. So that is exactly when this would happen. And as we could see, we could like easily mark leaves back and forth between ServiceDesk Plus and with your Outlook. So again, I'm just going to check it's away all day. It should work, but I'm sorry if there's a technical difficulty on this. And also, if I'm just going to go ahead and remove my leave, all right? If I say cancel leave, this information again will automatically be updated right into my Outlook calendar. So as I said, any updates that you do between ServiceDesk Plus and Outlook, those updates would be instantly passed on. So this way, the leaves that you mark, the leaves that you remove will all be updated. So I marked each holidays leave in service desk that got added into Teams as well. So the moment I'm going to refresh this, the holidays would be removed because I already removed it from ServiceDesk Plus. So this is how these holidays sync and everything works between ServiceDesk Plus and Micro Outlook Calendar. I'm sorry why, I'm not sure why it's not reflecting yet. We'll just leave it for a while and we'll come back to this. Now we have seen how ServiceDesk Plus and Outlook Calendar integration works. So you can basically add, edit, or delete leaves between all these applications. This is a new feature that we have released in version 11.3 of ServiceDesk Plus, and this has quite an interesting touch. So Outlook add-in for ServiceDesk Plus. What does it basically do? You could convert emails to help desk tickets using corresponding help desk templates from your Outlook. You don't need to even switch applications. Reply, edit, add notes, and view your help desk tickets right from within Outlook. So let's take a quick look at how this feature works. Now, I'm here at my Outlook. All right, I'm just going to go into my emails. So I have a series of emails being sent in. All right, and here is a new email that says need replacement ID card. So I'm just going to view this particular email and let's see what operations I get. So Santosh sent an email from another mailing solution into Outlook, and here is the email. Now, when I access this email, all right, I get an option where I could say ServiceDesk Plus for email. So this is an app that could be imported right into your Outlook. And once after you import this, you can make this as a business app for your entire organization. So it's asking, do you want to convert this email as a ticket or you want to go to the list view? I say yes, convert. So as you could see from this small, tiny space, you get a lot of options that you could do. You can choose between different templates. So I could choose between service templates or incident templates. All right. And I'm just going to choose a template that populate the requester information because Santa's the one who wants a replacement ID card. The user details from ServiceDesk Plus is fetched right into your team, into your Outlook. I can go ahead and fill out the details. There's like a lot of these options that I have. I could go ahead and do that. Once I've filled all of this, I can just go ahead and say add request. So as you can see, the subject and the description from the email has also been fetched in. So the request has been created. Not just that, once the request is created, I can like add a note over here or send a reply saying that get it soon, which is something we'll never send it. But yeah, I can send a reply. I could like add a note. I can do all of these operations right from within my Outlook. So basically, I'm not even switching applications. So as a technician, I could do all of this. I can even edit the tickets. So also, as you could see, I'm here in my list view of tickets, and I could choose between all these tickets and I can perform operations. So if I need to edit, all right, I could just go ahead and click on edit and start performing my edit operations. So as you could see, it's seamless. It's quite easy and handy. So right from within Outlook, we saw the calendar integration, we saw the actionable messages. Now we are seeing the add-in, which is basically a ServiceDesk Plus plugin into your Outlook. And we have seen all the features that we could work and do. So with this, we have completed our discussion about how ServiceDesk Plus integrates with the Microsoft suite of solutions. Now, what we're going to discuss next is about the SAML single sign-on. So why do we need to discuss about this? Because I want our users to know there are other single sign-on solutions that we have and that we support. So what are the prerequisites? Again, Azure authentication requires ServiceDesk Plus to be configured on HTTPS mode. So basically for SAML single sign-on, we are going to integrate with Azure. And again, if you want to integrate with G Suite as well, we could do it. And that requires ServiceDesk Plus to be accessible from a hosted public domain. And what are the roles required to set up SAML single sign-on? You will be using ServiceDesk Plus integration setup and Azure portal. So you need to have access to both of them. Make sure you have access to those areas with the following roles, which means SC admin is for ServiceDesk Plus, Azure Global Administrator, or the Applications Administrator for Azure. And what are the operations we support? So basically, you can configure SAML single sign-on using Azure, G Suite, OneLogin, ADFS, Okta, or other IDPs that's there in the market. Then you could basically customize your login page by minimizing the options so that you could like make it very evident for the user what they need to pick and choose. Then you can also reorder the login page. So there are a couple of these that we could do. And you could also choose the logout from ServiceDesk Plus. So you could basically log out either from ServiceDesk Plus or from SAML. Then you could use the suitable name ID format in ServiceDesk Plus and the IDPs for your login, which is basically you could choose email address, or you could choose transient or persistence for login name, or you could leave it for unspecified, which verifies the user principal name from the AD. All right, so these are all different operations and features that we support. So let's head right into ServiceDesk Plus. Now over here, as I said, the SAML configuration is going to be under your admin, and we have a dedicated section for SAML. So I'm not going to do the configuration for you. I'm just going to show where it is and how it works. So I go right into my admin and I have my SAML single sign-on. It's quite easy. We just need to provide the details on how it could be configured, what are all the parameters and values that is required. All right. And then also in the same page, you have a couple of other options that says how you could collapse or how you could expand and view. So I'm just going to wait for it to load because this is an important screen that we have to see. So as I said before, we also have options to integrate with G Suite if you wanted to do SSO with G Suite. So they are all available. And again, you could like use other modes as well. All right. Now, once for integration, you need to make sure you enable SAML single sign-on, and then if you want to collapse the login screen by default so that the end user's username and password will not be shown, you can do that. And I'm going to just show you where it is. So you could like do these over here. And while configuring, you can choose the name ID format, what it is required. And again, this SAML single sign-on was released a couple of versions before, but make sure you stay on the latest one to update because this email address format was introduced in the latest version for choice to be chosen for name ID format. Now, this is where you do your integration. Now, once you have integrated, you could like go over here and you could choose to log out from where. If you wanted to log out from SAML or if you wanted to log out from just ServiceDesk Plus. So I'm just going to log out from this instance and I'm going to show you how the login page looks like. All right. So this is how I could like choose between which application I want to log out. All right. And let me also go into my other browsers and bring in the login screen to have a different view. So let me just go ahead and do that. So I'm logging into one of the other browsers so we could see how the login page looks like. Now, as you could see, this option that says like collapse is what is shrunk the login name and password that we have by default. I can log in with SAML single sign-on. All I have to do is just click on that. And since my SAML single sign-on is configured, it's going to take me right into my SAML configuration. And also, sorry, log me into ServiceDesk Plus. So that's how you could control the user and login interface by collapsing. And also you could choose to log in with your ServiceDesk Plus credentials or with your SAML credentials. So just for earlier demonstration, I logged in locally Now I'm logging in via SAML. And if I log in via SAML, when I'm logging out, I get to either log out of ServiceDesk Plus, or I get to choose to log out from all the SAML services. So as you can see over here, we are logging in using the SAML. So all it just takes is a click. And when I do that, it logs me right in. All right. So as you could see, the calendar leaves are all being reflected that we marked in Outlook. So it's just that a login difference is what it took. And again, as I said, you can choose to log out from Service Desk, or you could choose to log out from SAML. So when you do log out from SAML, all the other applications that's logged in will also be logged out. Now, also, you can customize your login page. So basically, this login page that you get over here, you can customize the order. You could like put the SAML on the top and put the services plus credentials at the bottom. So how do you do it? So basically, I go to the admin tab, and we have this specific login page customization under the self-service portal settings. So I'm just going to show you where it's done. So I'm under the admin tab, and I am going to go right into my self-service portal settings. And over here, I'm going to have a separate segment for customization. So I'm also just going to go with the other browser too, just to like see which one is faster. So basically what I've done is that I have different, since we have the port accessibility via our VPN, I have to like log in with the host name as well as with the machine name. So like so that's the reason why there's like slight differences, and there's like so many other apps that I've used in order to connect. So there is a small delay, but let's just wait for this. Okay, while that's loading, I'm just also going to bring in the other one. All right, so under admin self-service portal settings, we have the space called customization. So under customization, you can customize your login page. You could basically say how exactly your login page should look. So whatever codes that you customize over here is what is going to reflect. And this username and password is what we have minimized by enabling the settings under your SAML configuration. So this is all part of the configuration. Now, for me to make it a lot more easier for my user, I want my SAML to be first and my login to be at the bottom. All I have to do is just cut this out, and I'm just gonna put it over here, and I'm just gonna cut this one out, remove the spaces that I have, and then I'm gonna put the login. So as you can see, it's swapped. So even if I'm going to remove this, it's just going to leave my SAML over there. So this is how basically you could customize your request to login page as well in order for you to make the view a lot more easier and flexible. So these are all the benefits that you get when you integrate ServiceDesk Plus with SAML, and not just that you could like do fine tuning and customizations as how it's required. So it makes your work a lot more easier and simpler. Now, we have seen how the SAML authentication works, what are the modes that we support, what are the IDPs we support, and we also support G Suite. And not just that, there's like a lot of other feature enhancements, like you could choose to log out from your SAML or from all the applications. So we have seen all these features. Now, I'm just going to take you to one last feature, which is OAuth. Now, OAuth is nothing but in mail server settings, all right? We still have POP and IMAP configurations, and there's been a discussion that EWS is and we want and trying to stop the usage of POP and IMAP. So for that, we support Exchange Web Service as well. So it's quite simple. All you have to do is just integrate services plus AWS and other protocol that you could choose, which is going to be your Exchange Web Service. So this is what I wanted to show, and this is one other option that ServiceDesk Plus offers. So this entire webinar is focused on helping users to understand that on-premises solution like ServiceDesk Plus integrates with cloud solutions too. All right. So the UI is still loading. We'll just have to wait a little bit, and then we would be able to see the configuration. So if you haven't noticed these features in your application, which means that you are in the latest, you're not on the latest version, you would need to perform an upgrade. So I would strongly recommend users to upgrade their application to the latest, all right, in order for you to utilize or like make use of all these features that we have discussed in today's call, all right? So let us just wait. It should be up any minute. Sorry about the delay. So this is what we have, Exchange Web Service. So instead of POP or IMAP, you could also use Exchange Web Service as a protocol, and you could configure your mail service settings. So these are all the features that is directly related to Microsoft Suite and the services that Microsoft Suite offers that could be integrated or made use of in Services Plus. So with all of these features and discussions, we are coming to the end of our webinar today, and I hope you all enjoyed it. So a quick recap. We've discussed how ServiceDesk Plus integrates with Teams, which is going to help both end users and technicians. And the only feature difference is that end users gets to chat with the ServiceDesk technicians. We saw actionable messages for Outlook where users could like pick up tickets or add notes right from the notifications that is being sent. And these are notifications that should be enabled in ServiceDesk Plus. Then we saw like the calendar, how the leaves or leaves that you add between Service Desk and Outlook is synced seamlessly, and any add or edit operations that you do in one application is reflecting on the other, and also how you could like use the calendar integration to also mark your leaves in Teams, so that way users in Teams would know how to like mark them, like get to know who's available and not. Then finally, we discussed about the actual like Services Plus plugin that we introduced for Microsoft Teams. So basically, from Teams, you can add tickets, create like edit tickets, or reply to them. You can perform a lot more operations. So these are all the activities that we discussed, and then we saw about the extended features like how SAML works, what are the IDPs that we support, and also we've discussed about how EWS can be integrated with ServiceDesk Plus for mail services. So with this, we are coming to an end of our webinar.